All right, let's dive right into this explainer. We are officially kicking off our brand new Cloud and DevOps block. We just wrapped up that massive block on GUI development, building those interfaces that run right on your local machine. But today we are taking a massive leap. We're venturing into the cloud. Specifically, we're zeroing in on a tool called boto3. Now, if you haven't heard of it, boto3 is the official Python SDK for Amazon Web Services, or AWS. So if you've ever wondered how these modern apps manage to scale up to millions of users without just completely crashing, or how you can actually command massive server farms using the exact Python skills you already have, well, you are absolutely in the right place.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We're going to start with a quick welcome to the cloud. Introduce boto3 as your master key. Unpack your new AWS toolkit, walk through a real-world application, and then, finally, lock it all down with some essential best practices. Let's get into it.
So, Section 1, Welcome to the Cloud. Let's talk about this massive shift to cloud computing. Here's the big shift we're making today. Throughout our previous explainers, we built applications that ran directly on your own personal computer, right? Or maybe a single server you had to go in and manually manage. But modern software has basically totally moved away from that. Instead of owning, managing, and frankly, dealing with the headache of maintaining physical hardware, which is insanely expensive and super hard to scale, we're now just renting resources. We rent computing power, storage, and a whole bunch of other services directly from tech giants like Amazon. You're not buying the hardware anymore, you're just renting its power exactly when you need it. It's a total game changer. All right, moving right along to Section 2, the boto3 master key. How exactly do we control AWS with Python? So the crucial question is, how on earth do we actually control all this massive infrastructure? Enter boto3. This right here is your master key. Instead of logging into the AWS web console and, manually clicking around to set up servers or storage buckets, boto3 gives you a fully comprehensive Python interface to do all of that programmatically. Think about that for a second. You are literally using the Python code you already know to create, manage, and delete genuine cloud resources. It is without a doubt the ultimate form of automation. And what exactly are you commanding with this key? Well, Amazon Web Services is the single largest, most widely used cloud provider in the entire world. It offers literally hundreds of individual services. So whether you just need some simple file storage for a tiny web app, or, and this is wild, you need to spin up the massive, heavy-duty infrastructure necessary to train those deep learning models we talked about in our earlier ML block, AWS handles all of it, and it does it at a genuinely massive scale. Which brings us to Section 3, your AWS toolkit. Let's start mapping out these concepts so you can see the incredibly powerful set of tools you now have at your disposal. Okay, so AWS absolutely loves its acronyms, and yeah, it can seem kind of intimidating at first glance. But what's really interesting here is how easily these services map onto concepts we've already covered together. For example, S3, that's just file storage. It replaces the local hard drive on a web server. EC2 is a virtual server, acting a whole lot like your own computer, just sitting in a massive data center somewhere. And DynamoDB? That's a NoSQL database, which is remarkably similar to the MongoDB concepts we learned about earlier. It's just the same concepts leveled up. Let's break these down a bit more, starting off with S3, or Simple Storage Service. This is AWS's most fundamental service, and it gives you essentially unlimited file storage. Think about it. Rather than storing user-uploaded files on your own server, which, let's be honest, gets incredibly difficult and messy to scale as your app grows, S3 steps in and handles all the underlying reliability and availability for you. Honestly, it's the absolute best starting point for learning how to use boto3. And just look at how elegantly simple this is to use. Once you install it via quick pip install boto3, you can create an S3 client with just a single line of code. Boom. From there, uploading a file is as easy as calling upload_file, passing in your local path, your target S3 bucket, and your desired file name. Downloading? Just as easy. With literally just a few lines of Python, you've completely solved the headache of local server storage limits forever. How cool is that? Next up on our tour is EC2, which stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. When you need raw computing power, this is your go-to. EC2 allows you to rent genuine virtual computing servers. So you can use your new boto3 skills to programmatically launch entirely new virtual servers, completely customized with whatever specific operating system and hardware requirements you might need for your project. And Here is where the automation truly shines. Imagine your application goes viral overnight. We all want that, right? Well, instead of your server just completely crashing from all that unexpected sudden user traffic, your Python script can actually detect the load and simply execute ec2.run_instances. boto3 will automatically spin up additional servers to handle the traffic spike, and you don't even have to wake up or lift a single finger. That right there, that is the absolute magic of cloud computing.
Okay, now let's talk data. DynamoDB is AWS's fully managed NoSQL database. Connecting this right back to our previous explainer where we covered MongoDB, DynamoDB gives you that exact same flexible JSON-like document storage. And the best part? You interact with it using the Python dictionaries you're already super comfortable with. The massive advantage here, though, is that AWS completely manages all the server maintenance, the scaling, and the reliability for you right behind the scenes. Now, this brings us to a conceptually distinctive approach that has literally taken the tech industry by storm: serverless computing. I know, serverless sounds like a total oxymoron, right? But it simply means running individual pieces of code in the cloud without you having to provision or manage any dedicated servers whatsoever. You aren't paying for a server that's just sitting there idle. You only pay when your code actually executes. And the undisputed star of the serverless show on AWS is Lambda. Lambda lets you trigger your Python code automatically based on specific events. So, for example, the exact second a new file gets uploaded to your S3 bucket, it can trigger a Lambda function to process that file immediately. It is incredibly efficient, and again, you are only getting charged for the exact milliseconds your code actually runs. It's brilliant. So we have all these amazing, powerful tools. Let's move into section 4, real-world application, and see how tying it all together actually looks in practice. Let's tie this entire explainer together with the concepts we've already mastered. Imagine you're building a professional app where users upload profile pictures. Here's the flow. Step 1, the user uploads their picture via a fast API endpoint, which remember we covered in a previous explainer. Step 2, your code uses the pillow library from our image processing explainer to automatically resize that image. Step 3, your newly learned boto3 skills instantly upload that perfectly resized image right to an S3 bucket. And finally, step 4, you save only that S3 URL into your database. This keeps your database incredibly lightweight and blazing fast. Guys, that is a truly scalable professional architecture right there. But hey, before you rush off to build the next tech unicorn, we absolutely need to review Section 5 Essential Cloud Best Practices, specifically focusing on cloud security and handling errors. I really want you to let this quote sink in for a second. Sensitive credentials should genuinely never, ever be hard-coded directly within your source code. If you accidentally upload a script to GitHub with your AWS access keys typed right there into the code, I promise you, malicious bots will find it in seconds. They'll use your account to mine cryptocurrency, and you're going to wake up to an AWS bill for tens of thousands of dollars. No joke. So, to completely prevent that absolute nightmare scenario, always use python.env. Exactly like we thoroughly covered in our earlier .env explainer. Load your AWS credentials from environment variables securely, or just use a dedicated, hidden AWS configuration file right on your machine. Keeping things secure like this is the true mark of a professional developer. Finally, you gotta remember that at the end of the day, the cloud is really just someone else's computer over a network. And networks drop, services restart, operations are eventually going to fail. Connecting this back to our previous explainer on the request library, always use standard Python try and except blocks. If your code tries to access an S3 bucket that suddenly doesn't exist, or there's a weird network timeout, those blocks are going to gracefully handle the boto3 exceptions rather than just aggressively crashing your entire application. So boto3 extends your automation out into the massive world of AWS cloud infrastructure. You now have the foundational master key to build incredibly scalable apps using just Python. But AWS isn't the only major player in town, is it? What happens when your company, or maybe a future client, needs you to interface with Amazon's single biggest competitor? How do we take these exact same cloud engineering skills and apply them to a completely different ecosystem? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dive into in our next explainer on Google Cloud. There are still so many amazing tools to conquer in this series, so we will definitely see you in the next one.